the Opopka Studios in Oklahoma City, you are watching The Press Row. I'm Jenni Carlson here with Barry Tramel. It's time for our weekly We Pick 'em segment, Barry. We've got 5 topics. We're going to pick from 2 choices. Let's get right to it. First of all, is Oklahoma City the best home court advantage in the NBA? Thumbs up or thumbs down?
I'm going to go thumbs up. Now, with a caveat. The Thunder does not always take advantage of it.
Yep.
In other words, they've got an elite team, but the Thunder doesn't have the best home record in the NBA and hasn't had the last 3 years. But the Thunder does have the best atmosphere, the best energy, the best crowd pushing the team along. And that doesn't come from me. That comes from guys I've been listening to and talking to around the media room at NBA arenas. Down in San Antonio, talking to some guys from ESPN, it says not even close the difference between San Antonio and Oklahoma City, which I would have to agree with after 2 games in San Antonio. So I think the Thunder does have that, still has that college atmosphere.
Absolutely.
That gets all fired up. Now, maybe we'll lose that after we grow up in the league 10 years, but right now I think we got the best.
Game 3 on Thursday night, unbelievable, the scene inside that arena. People standing up throughout the game. I mean, it wasn't from start to finish, but there would be random times I'd look up, Barry, and there'd be people just all over the place standing and cheering for this team. You don't see that around the NBA much. Siku Smith, who covers the NBA for NBA.com, had a comment last night on Twitter. He says he thinks what Oklahoma City has in its arena is the best home court advantage in all of sports. Now, I don't know if I'm ready to go that far. That's pretty good home court advantage that the Thunder has. Definitely best in the NBA. You got to think it's up there amongst all professional league teams. All right, Barry, what about this? The Thunder, should they go big or go small? What do you think?
Well, now, first of all, you go both because you mix and match.
True.
It's great. But I tell you, we threw dirt on the big lineup, and in Game 3, the big lineup produced. You can't go away too much from the big lineup. Scotty Brooks played his big lineup, which means 2 big guys with 3 perimeter players. Played him 19 minutes and change in Game 3. They outscored the Spurs 45-30 during those 19 minutes. Serge Ibaka and Kendrick Perkins together still make a formidable duo. And while we keep wanting to say, hey, this is a series in which Kendrick Perkins isn't going to be valuable, he keeps proving us wrong. So I think Kendrick still has to play, but of course you got to play Serge, got to throw Nick Carlson in there some. Going small is great at times too for the matchup purposes. Get Harden and Cephalosha both on the court, for instance, but don't go away from the bigs. Kendrick Perkins and Serge Ibaka together do something special.
Yeah, I'm going to say go small on this one, but in saying that, I agree with you, Barry. I'm not saying don't ever have Kendrick Perkins and Serge Ibaka out there together. But we did see that the Thunder did not play Nazr Mohammed in Game 3. I think that you're seeing them tend towards maybe having more of a guard-oriented lineup out there. And, you know, obviously, Thabo Cephalosha playing as many minutes as he did. We saw him play a decent amount in Game 1, but not many in Game 2. Obviously, if they're going to leave him out there a bunch, that tends again towards that smaller lineup, and it worked great. I think to give the bigs a little bit of a break, to allow Kendrick Perkins to sit and, you know, be at his best when Tim Duncan's out there, I think those things are important. And playing that smaller lineup gives them a chance to have those bigs as fresh as they can. But yeah, don't screw with the starting lineup or anything crazy like that. You got to stay with those guys, but use small as much as you can, in my opinion. All right, Barry, what about this? Game 4 coming up on Saturday. You picking the Thunder or you picking the Spurs?
I'm going to go with the Thunder. I thought coming back from San Antonio, we'd probably see a split in the 2 games in Oklahoma City. I thought the Spurs had established themselves as clearly the superior team, but Game 3 changed my thought. Game 3 made me realize, hey, the Thunder delivered a message. That this is not a team that's going to go away easily. I think the Thunder found some things that really work. Thabo on Tony Parker, switching on the pick and roll when Manu Ginobili has the ball. The shortening of the bench with no Daquan Cook or Nazr Mohammed. Just go with an 8-man rotation. All of those things really worked. I think the Thunder rides that to victory in Game 4.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going Thunder in Game 4. And yeah, I thought that I was more thinking split as well, but the message that the Thunder sent in Game 3, obviously it wasn't only the changes in X's and O's, but it seemed to be a change in mentality. I wrote about that from the game on Thursday night. The fact that you saw that nastier mentality come out in the Thunder. And I think that's great. They really did bow up, and we wondered, Barry, after the way those first 2 games went, did they have any fight left in them? Guess what? They have a lot left in them, and I think they're going to show it again Saturday. Hey, let's head over to that Eastern Conference Finals series for just a second, Barry. Who you got winning this one, Heat or Celtics? What do you think after 2 games?
Well, I think the Heat's going to win it, and they might sweep. The Celtics played valiantly in Game 2 in Miami, took it to overtime, and dominated a good part of the game. We saw Rajon Rondo play the game, not of his life, but maybe of everybody on Earth's life, and still they lost.
Yeah.
That's got to be a crusher. I mean, I just don't think the Celtics can beat the Heat. I see no scenario by which the Celtics could now beat the Heat. If you win that game, then you're in the running. But you lose that game, I don't know that the Celtics will get another chance at a victory like that.
I think they got a chance to win one of these games in Boston, either 3 or 4. But yeah, I don't think they're going to beat the Heat. And they just don't seem to quite have that something to get them over the top. They played the Heat really close in those first 2 games, led in a couple different scenarios in those first 2 games in Miami, but just not able to win in the end. I mean, obviously, it would be interesting to see what the Heat would be doing if Chris Bosh hadn't gotten hurt, because right now, LeBron and Dwayne Wade playing at such a high level. Throw back in that center in the middle, you kind of wonder, but I still like their chances to beat the Celtics. Now, without Bosh against one of these teams from the West, that's a discussion for another day. First, let's try to figure out who is going to come out of the West, Barry. Who are you going to pick in this series now that we're 3 games in, Thunder or Spurs?
I still have the Spurs. Look at it this way. The Thunder, to win this series, has got to win 3 out of 4, and 2 of the 4 games are in San Antonio. So, the Thunder still has to pick up a road win while holding court at home. The Thunder hasn't shown that they can win in San Antonio and haven't put together a solid game in San Antonio.
That's true.
We saw the Spurs sort of not self-destruct, but get walloped last night. But I just don't know that we're going to see that continue. I mean, the Spurs, this is a veteran team. Stuff rolls off their back. They'll be ready to play. If not, win game 4 on Saturday night in Oklahoma City. They'll be ready in Game 5. Thunder's not going to win a Game 7. So what we're really not on the road. You just don't do that at a big time against a big time opponent. So the Thunder's going to have to win 3 straight. They're capable. I just don't think they will.
It does seem like a tall task when you start to say 3 of 4 or 3 in a row, because I agree that I think winning Game 7 in San Antonio would be tough. But I'm going to go with the Thunder. This was my pick before the playoffs started. I'm going to stick with it. I felt very uneasy about it after 2 games. Was starting to think that it might not get through this weekend, folks. I thought the Spurs could potentially come in here and end this thing before the weekend was over. That didn't seem out of the question after the first 2 games in San Antonio. Now you start to, obviously those, like you say, winning 3 of 4 or winning the next 3 to close out at home seems almost impossible. But you think about it, winning on Saturday doesn't seem impossible. If they play well on Saturday, going back to San Antonio, you're riding that momentum wave. Maybe then you win on Saturday. Then anything seems possible. If you get it to 3-2, then you just never know what could happen. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. The series is at least fun again. I was worried it might not be much fun, but I think it's definitely fun again. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoma.